Let's start off with a campaign on road safety and reducing accidents because the Transport Ministry is proposing a ban on the use of motorbikes in the country at 9 p.m. According to the Deputy Minister Titus Glover, the call has become necessary following the alarming rate of accidents involving motorbikes in the country. He says drastic measures are needed to deal with the situation, including disallowing the registration of motorbikes and banning the bikes for commercial purposes.
Today we are talking in this forum about motorcycles. 2010, the statistics tells us from Road Safety Commission, 200 motor riders died. In 2017, it jumped to 400. From 200 in 2010 to 400. And when you look at the general statistics, the contribution of motor riders, Okada riders, their contribution in terms of percentage is 25. These are the hard facts that the Road Safety Commission is giving to us. So we don't need to be silent. We don't need to keep quiet. And because we have commercialized it, foreigners along our borders, they cross in and they come and compete with our people. Because of the communication barrier, all they hear is Abochi go, Abochi left. Provided you can direct them where they are going. And it's worrying when police want to fight crime. Because sometimes the police at that spur of the moment cannot chase that motor rider. And it's contributing seriously to crime sometimes. I would love that the IGP after 9 o'clock, 9:30 should ban all motor riding in this country. I'll be very grateful in a way to control crime. Within specific time, between 9 p.m. to 9:30, if all motorcycles are banned, and I'm sorry my MC is not here, maybe Tema we can lead to do something. Tema, Ashama, Punkatamanso, in that environment. We can say that for 9:30 p.m., we don't want to see any motorcycle riding. So that we'll be able to control crime. And I believe that this can go a long way.
Titus Glover there is the Deputy Minister for Transport. Well, is this the way to go? Is it even a feasible solution? We'll love to hear from you on our social media platform as far as the proposal by the Minister is concerned. But let's hear as well from this commercial Okada rider.
But I'm pleading to the Transport Minister that he should extend the time for us till maybe 10 o'clock because of due to where some people have been staying, and maybe after 10, maybe any necessary action, maybe if you see on Okada, can be taken.
Armed robbers use these motorbikes for their activities at night. I mean, it doesn't matter at what time, but it very often happens at night.
It's true. You know, in these Okada riders, we have innocent people. And people too are using this kind of Okada for armed robbery and snatching people's bag and those kind of things. So as the minister is saying that maybe by 9 o'clock, all the Okadas can be banned by that time. And I support him a lot. But just I want the extension due to where some people are coming from and are staying, you know, maybe a car cannot reach the place and maybe it's only the Okada that can go there. So I'm just pleading to him that he can extend the time for us.
That's a commercial motor rider there. In the meantime, the Sector Minister, Kwesi Ofori-Esiama, is asking the public to support the police and other state institutions to enforce the country's laws. He says the attitude of the public on law enforcement sometimes makes it difficult for law enforcers to carry out their mandate. The Transport Minister made the call when he visited last Friday's accident scene at Ikunfi Dunkwa and some victims at the hospital. Richard Kujonyako has more.
All persons involved in the Ikunfi Dunkwa accident on the Mankesim Cape Coast Road have been discharged from the various hospitals. The accident scene has since been sanitized and vehicles towed. Transport Minister Kwesi Ofori-Esiama, who visited the scene of the accident, lamented on how the country is losing its citizens through road crashes. To the minister, the killings on our roads are largely attributed to indiscipline, noting that statistics from the National Road Safety Commission indicate that about 80% of all road crashes are caused by human error, the majority of which are linked to indiscipline on the part of male drivers. He wants the police to be supported to enforce the laws on the country's roads.
At times when these drivers they do overspeed or the police arrest them for road offenses, it is you, the same media, that you come out to say, oh, the police are arresting people unnecessarily, the police are doing this, the police. So please, give them the support, because we need the police to bring sanity on our roads, because they are supposed to enforce the law. So if we don't support them, for them to do this work and protect our people, and also, I'm not saying that if they do something wrong, we shouldn't criticize them. But many a time, we tend to re-echo the views of these passengers or road users who do other overtaking or overspeeding, or they go and drink and the police arrest them, say the police are arresting them unnecessarily. So please, I would like to appeal to you, as for government, we may do whatever we need. Look, since we assumed office last year, that we gave National Road Safety extra 6.5 million Ghana cedis to do the education. I haven't seen a year in the history of this country that road safety has done more advocacy than this year.
Deputy Administrator of the Apam Hospital, Reverend Father Otsendonfe, expressed disquiet about the lack of logistics to support victims of accident and other emergencies.
The only ambulance we have is also not in very good condition, so we had to adjust and even use hairs to convey living people. So we will just appeal to you, to the President through you, that sometimes, as much as some of these things happen, we also will want to respond and respond positively. But if the logistics are not there, then saving the life that remains, he also becomes a Herculean task. So I already understand the President is trying to get some ambulances in place per constituency, but I don't think constituencies do referral. It is the hospital that does it, and if the ambulance is in the facility, it helps.
The National Road Safety Commission in the region wants the police to continue maintaining their visibility on the Accra-Cape Coast Highway to reduce the number of accidents on the stretch. Richard Kwejo-Nyakon, JoyNews, Cape Coast.
Richard Kwejo-Nyakon filed that report and was still on accidents and road safety because the director in charge of education, research and training at the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service, DSP Alexander Obeng, has cautioned personnel of the service who direct and regulate traffic against abusing road users, particularly motorists, in their bid to enforce compliance of traffic regulations. Speaking on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM this morning, DSP Obeng reminded officers on the road to see the public as stakeholders in traffic management.
Many of the crashes that occur, if they are 100, we always say about 94, as you said, will be attributed to one error of you or me behind the steering wheel. Either has to do with the tie that got burst because you did not provide the appropriate tie, or because of the nature of speed you engage in when you and I were not present. Are you with me? Or the way you change lane, for example, or the way you were tailgating, and how you run the red light, where do you expect that all police officers cannot be at the signalized junction around the clock? So when a crash occurs at midnight, when the person instead of stopping at the red light, he just to run and crash into a colleague who is complying, then you come and then you want to say, oh, a police officer. You know, I think that traffic enforcement, traffic management is a multi-stakeholder, venture. And that is why a vehicle owner has a responsibility of enforcement to ensure that the vehicle is roadworthy. Okay. The vehicle is delivered to a safer hand. Okay. So you do a background check of a driver you want to hand over a vehicle to. But in my data, for example, last year, let me show you something. Out of the arrests that we sent to court, 1,142 out of the 5,900 were people that vehicle owners gave their license to who were supposed to be passengers, and because they were not license holders, for example. Are you with me? We detected them. If you are not detected them, then we say, oh, police didn't do a good work. And if an unlicensed person is behind a steering wheel and this thing happened, what do we do? And we know clearly, like we have seen gentlemen, it cuts across profession. You can see it in vehicles And even wearing seatbelt. No, wearing seatbelt becomes a headache. It becomes a problem. And with mobile phone in one of their hands, what's happening on the streets? And we are admonishing and all that. Those who should know better.
That's Superintendent Alexander Obeng there earlier on the Super Morning Show.